Hey everybody, welcome back to A Little Mountain Life. My name is Don, and today we're going to talk about our new floating live edge kitchen shelves. If you're new to the channel, you'll come to find that we are working on a lot of stuff up here on our little mountain. We are building a pole barn house with cash and trying to do it as quick as we can, although as quick as we can is now gone on 2 years we've been working on this build. But anyways, this live edge floating shelf in our kitchen has been a project we've been looking forward to. It's one of those things that we're doing to the inside of the house right now to really start to give it character and kind of finish out the inside. We're kind of going for like a modern farmhouse feel. The outside of the house is completely black. We've got black fixtures inside the house, but we've got the white countertop and the white subway tile and the white shiplap everywhere. So we're doing a little bit of everything with the modern farmhouse look. We're kind of piecing it together as we go, and it's looking good so far. The live edge look is really cool. We really like that. Obviously, we're kind of on a mountain in the woods, and we want to kind of embrace the wood around us. And to go along with this, we have a very, very large dining room table that's being built right now by our friend Kenny at Life on Beagle Road. He's doing a big live edge dining room table with like metal legs and everything. It's going to look amazing, and it's going to pair really well with this live edge shelf. So let's talk about how these bad boys went up. So I'm absolutely not a woodworker. I'm not a home builder either, but here we are. But this is the very first kind of real woodworking project I've taken on. I had aspirations to build that table that Kenny's building for us, and I wanted to build our kitchen cabinets. That didn't happen. But this is kind of one thing that ended up falling in my lap and was a way for me to kind of get creative and work with the wood a little bit and kind of try out woodworking, as it were, using a lot of different tools and working with some beautiful live edge lumber. So we sourced this wood locally from Virginia Buildworks. It's a shop in downtown Front Royal. That's also the place where we got the slab for my table. And it's a beautiful large slab. And Mac, the guy that owns the shop, he went ahead and planed it for us to get it nice and flat, and he also sliced it right down the middle. So both of these live edges come from the same individual slab from the same tree. And he helped me load it up into the truck, and I brought it back home, and I started figuring out how to be a woodworker. So this was a piece of oak. It took some time to really figure out what the heck I was doing. I watched a lot of videos on YouTube. So obviously this is just a video showing how I did it. I'm no expert, so you can kind of see the mistakes I made along the way. I did not know how much work would need to go into this slab to get it sanded down and get it prepared for the sealant. We just did a clear coat on it, and all the work that I put into this shelving project made me really appreciate and understand better what the real woodworkers, the real craftsmen do to make the beautiful furniture and wood pieces that they do. There's a reason why it's so expensive when you buy that stuff. It takes some time.
Should enjoy the fruits of life instead
Now, for any floating live edge shelving project, you're going to be dealing with kind of the structure behind the wall. And obviously, with our home not being 100% finished yet, I was able to work with an exposed wall. So if you're doing a floating shelf in your already existing home, you're going to have to do a little bit of demolition first. I watched a lot of videos of guys kind of removing some material from the drywall to expose the studs behind it so that they could create a strong enough support for the shelf. We bought the floating shelf brackets off Amazon, like a lot of things, and they came in a pack of 8. We ended up getting 2 different packs of them because we ended up putting a lot more in place than I thought we'd need to, just because of the sheer weight of the wood that we were talking about for this project. I just wanted to be safe and make sure that these shelves don't fall down on us when we're in the kitchen. So we had the exposed studs to work with in our case, and for the pole barn house, the walls that you're putting up on the inside aren't bearing any weight. So I actually put our interior studs 24 inches on center, which is normally fine as long as you're not hanging heavy things. Enter very heavy live edge slabs. So I ended up putting some blocking in between the studs to help strengthen and give some more rigidity to the structure behind the floating shelves, because again, we don't want them to fall down on us. And then I just anchored the brackets that we got off Amazon into the studs and into the blocking. I think they were 3-inch screws that we put in, and there's a bunch of those brackets back there. So that's gonna hold just fine. It's funny, before we put up the shelves, I actually, to test the weight, I hung on to 2 of the brackets with my hands and let my body weight just hang off of it. And I'm 225 pounds right now. So if it can hold me, it can hold a lot of things. So then we got to the hard part. After I put up the shiplap in front of the brackets, we had to drill the holes on the backside of the slabs, and you got to measure 100 times and drill once in this case. Because you don't want to tear up too much of the material you're working with these shelves. And so we got those drilled out, and after a little bit of finagling with me and Natalie standing on the countertop, we were able to get the shelves to fit, and they slid right back into place, and they're holding in really, really strong.
Oh!
You okay?
Yeah. Oh.
Watch your hands. I think we're in. So obviously we're not doing cabinets above our kitchen countertop. So this is gonna hold like plates and bowls and cups and that kind of thing. So you might have seen behind me, I've got this pipe that's going up, and that's actually attached to the upper floating shelf. And that's not because we needed it there to support the shelf, but rather we have this microwave that's been giving me fits for like 2 weeks. And normally this microwave would mount underneath cabinets, but we had to do some kind of customizations with some pieces of steel. But anyway, the pipe up there is not necessary for a normal floating shelf. Obviously, that means it's not floating anymore, but we needed it to support the weight of the microwave. Now, I really think that these shelves look amazing, but what's really important is what Natalie thinks. Natalie.
I love them. I'm really glad that we took the time to resand this and kind of lighten it up and stain it lighter. I liked the way it looked before, but I like the way it looks now so much better. So I'm really happy with it. Yeah, I think it looks great.
Stamp of approval?
Stamp of approval, yes.
Cool.
This week marks 2 years since we broke ground on our home. We really thought we'd be done by now, but everything takes longer than planned, and that's okay. We know it's just 2 shelves, but we are finally starting to see a glimpse of what this house will look like when it's finished.